Howdy, howdy, and welcome back to another one of these tier list videos. So make sure you like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Today we are going to talk about the guild boss and my thoughts on the tier list for that. I had to section this one off because I had to really think about like how the guild boss function, and I'm going to give a brief explanation as we go along and everything. So you have your damage and your support because you're going to need to group them as such so you can survive long and dish out as much damage as you can possible as you survive. All the way at the top for our S tier, we're gonna start with the damage. We have the green Lapis and the blue Aleph. Now, for this tier list, this is completely every hero so far in the game from this record and the paid ones as well. I feel like I need to group those in up for this tier list, just because for people that do want to spend, you can know what you can put your money towards. I mean, if I could afford it, I will spend as much money as it takes for me to buy enough renown to green the green left. I wish I would have, because I think I had the money at the time, but I wasn't spending. I was kind of like being frugal at that time, which isn't bad because I have other stuff going on in life. But I do wish I would have got the blue Aleph because both of them have similar skills that just they get extra bits of damage that they can deal, which is crazy strong for bosses, and they are literally the two best heroes for the guild boss. Guild boss has really high HP on a lifesteal build. They probably can solo the boss like that strong, where you can just put in a bunch of fodder and then they go in, everything dies, and they just solo. That's how it is. I mean, as the stages go up, then it gets stronger and everything, so you have to be stronger as well. But they are literally just that powerful, and they're paid. I mean, you can sort of get him free to play, but that'll take forever. Then in our support category, we have another paid one, the Light Olivia. I put her in here because I've been testing a few things and I've been kind of looking at like having one dealer in my one dealer in my burst slot for both teams and one healer in my burst slot, because the whoever you put in the burst slot, they're going to prioritize their burst skills. The other three slots are just going to be your support and extra damage, so they're not going to use their burst skills unless the ones in the burst slots die before them. Then it's going to go into the next ones. But whoever you put in the burst slots, and at first I was just doing pure damage, but I'm like, I can live longer and do more damage as we get into the higher levels, where I can survive a little longer if I have a healer. And I believe the Light Olivia just has the best kit because she has an invincibility on skill 2, and then she just has a heal that's based off of her HP, stack HP on her, strong, just crazy output that you have from there. Let me actually go check her out so we can get a full reading of her burst. So it heals all allies in proportion of the user's maximum health. Like, so whatever her maximal health is, you're getting a big girl heal out of that, and then grants them a health regen buff that lasts for 2 turns. So you also getting that health regen that's going to protect you a bit. Then her second skill gives your all allies a visibility for 1 turn, which is pretty insane. And then she increases everybody's attack power with that invincibility. Like her support and utility is just so strong. But then her first skill attacks a selected enemy, 50% chance to reduce the attack power of that enemy, and then she heals all allies proportionate to the damage she deals. So I guess she can get a good heal off based off of her damage if you build her for like damage hybrid, but really you just want her here for the big girl heal or her burst. The green Charlotte. Now, I've been really thinking about it because I believe the green Charlotte, she kind of falls off a bit in the game, and she kind of comes back because once you get late game, you get her like really just like you just like put build her up, get her 6-star, get her fully ascended, get a lot of HP and a stacked on her, then her shield will be insane. So your team will be able to take some really big hits off of her protection. So that's why I put her in S tier for support. Now for the A tier. Now A tier is just like the last tier list I did for mid to late game, where pretty much everybody in the A tier damage slot is all of the heroes that have some form of ignore defense. You're gonna get big damage out of ignore defense, and every single one of these heroes have ignore defense. I have the green Lucilica here because her skill 2 has ignore defense, even though her main doesn't, she does. So these are all good except for the green Lucilica. She should just be a part of your team, but everyone else is solid to be in your burst slot. They would be great to be in your burst slot because of their ignore damage. Now, if you look closely, I have Arslan on here twice for tier A. And the reason is because not only as he's so good for damage, his support and utility is great as well because he gives you a turn bar boost, which isn't that big. Its turn bar boosting is okay, but the guild boss does take turns as you attack him. Once you do damage, his turn bar increases. So turn bar reduction isn't as great against him, but turn bar boosting is still pretty solid to use. You get an AoE attack buff for 2 turns, so that just makes him great. Everyone else in the support category is also great to have in terms of being in the burst slot for either heals or some form of extra utility. Arslan is paid. Then we have the red Rosanna. I had the blue Rosanna in the frontier test. She was fun. She was in that 5 though. Her burst is to attack all enemies and heal the user in proportionate to the damage dealt. So she heals herself. But the big thing for her is her second skill, which grants a shield for all allies based on her attack power. So she is a bit of a dealer, but she's a support type of dealer. I think she would be solid just to have on the team, not necessarily in the burst slot, but on the team just for that extra utility. As far as Red Vanessa go, yes, she'll be solid, but I think maybe the blue. I don't know why I got put Red Vanessa before the blue Vanessa here. I think the blue Vanessa might be a little bit better on terms of healing, just because it's based off of no, Red Vanessa because hers is based off of her HP, and I think Blue Vanessa is based off of defense or something like that. Blue Vanessa, her burst, yeah, based off of her defense, which is cool. Which is cool. You just get her high defense, and then you get big girl heals, but the heal that comes out of Red Vanessa is based off of her health, and you're going to stack health on her anyway as you use her through your progression. So she's going to be great, and then you get your invisibility. Then we got the Blue Joshua, which is not his burst that you're really looking towards. You're looking to just feel some extra utility on the team. He has feels all allies action gauge by 35% and remove 2 most recent debuffs from all allies. You will be hit by debuffs, so I find him as a solid support in that category. Maybe for your second round team, maybe not the first round team, but like your second round team for help. Then we got the B tier. The B tier generally for all my tier lists is they're solid, they're really good, they just don't have like really OP or really super strong skills that have them stand out. So like I don't think you really want most of these as your burst. Granted, you able to get some of the other ones. A lot of the ones in the higher tiers actually will be more paid savvy. They cost a little bit more. You probably will have to spend money to get. Not exactly F2P. So on an F2P scale, the B tier would technically be something like A tier. But like I use my Dark 9 as one of my burst dealers in my team. So solid damage. Whoever like your main dealer is, you'll more likely have them in there for your burst. So you have a lot of great damage here. Sap damage is great too. I think I got quite a few of the sap damage dealers. Well, some of the sap damage dealers in here. These two for sure sap damage. I mean, Death Break is strong. So and then she has some pretty solid damage. He has some pretty solid damage. I had just got the green one. I use him on defense though, but for PvP, but he got some pretty solid damage. Like most of them are like good damage dealers, and this is why they're in this slot is just because they do solid damage. They're just not brokenly OP. Then we have our supports here. The supports in these slots they don't make it to A, Most of them I say will almost be A. It's just that either their burst isn't that great or they just don't have the best utility. Like let's start with the one I got right here at the top, which which you have to complete extreme just to even get her. I actually want her because I think she's really strong. I want to use her in PvP, but she has a burst that attacks all enemies, gains an extra turn when the enemy dies, which is pretty cool. Then her auto skill is the attack to select the enemy, heals all allies 10% of the attack if it's a critical. So she can heal everybody off of her auto attack off of critical hits. So she definitely want to have crit. And then her second skill is to attack all enemies and grants all allies a health regen for 2 turns. So she has some solid utility, but it's not the greatest. If you get what I mean. Red Joshua, good for protecting and buffing and everything, but not super strong to have. So definitely something that would be great to have on a team, but not important. I mean, you get the health regen and turn bar push of Chrome, but that's pretty much it. He doesn't give you anything else that's useful. The red Johan, which I bought and built like the day it came out. I really like him. He's really great. DPS cleric, but he's gonna spam his second skill as an attack. So a lot of time what happens is my team goes, he attacks, and we're already full health because the boss haven't moved and he's just not good on auto. Like unless something is moving before you and attacking, he's just not good on auto. He might be solid on defense. Actually, I think I have him on my defense. Granted, the team doesn't get completely decimated though. He moves, he attacks, he AOE attacks and heals everybody. Great, great, great. And his burst is really just meh, meh. Then I put the red Durandal because I actually think the red Durandal will be pretty good here. Like, cause generally they're usually C tier. Both the red and green Durandal are usually C tier, but it's not his first skill. I think his second skill is attack selecting me 7% chance to. Oh yeah, they extend duration of debuffs. It's not many heroes that do that. Him and one other one that I can't think of at this moment that does a debuff duration extension. And granted, you would have to skill him up, but that would be great to have. Like you hit a death break. Oh, now I remember. It's the Dark Nine. If you use Dark Nine's burst, he extends debuffs. So it's like to have the debuff extension, like a death break to continue to stay on, because most death breaks are for one. Well, I won't say most death breaks, but the death break I use is for 1 turn. I don't really have that solid 2 turn death break. I mean, I could put Fram in, but meh, Fram. Lay is better. So having that debuff extension, even like the sap damage, like you can just help stack extra damage onto bosses just off of that skill. And and as you scale it up, it just gets better because the applied effect increased by 1, so you get extra turn off that. It goes from a 70% chance to a 80% at max, but that's still great. You got a 4 turn cooldown and can go down to 3 turns. So I think he's B tier at best. Definitely not A tier material, but definitely not C tier either. I think he's solid here. Then Blue Charlotte, she's probably the worst support in terms of being a healer. Her heals are strong, they are great, but health regens are good on heroes like Chrome, that like they not necessarily trying to heal the team, but the fact that they have it in their kit, it's great. But when your job is to heal, I mean like just having that health regen and the rest of the utility in your kit is not that strong. It's like meh, meh. Green Lumi. I don't think she really does. Reduce attack on first skill, reduce speed on second. That's AOE, and reduce defense on third. So she can be great, but it's only her 1 turn. You have to skill her up on her burst. So she's really just not that great. She might even be C tier. I think I put her in B because she does have great utility in her kit. She might can even be a solid damage dealer, but her utility kind of makes her sort of more. I would say she leans a little more to the support because like some of them can do damage. Like some of them are great damage dealers, but have them in the support category because of what their kit does. Then the red Lapis, I like his kit. I just don't think the guild boss is where he shines at. Honestly, I just don't think that's the place where he's at. I don't really want to say any more about him. It's like he seems like he's really great, but no, no, not at all. Then your C tier. These the ones that once you start building your teams together, you just kind of want to avoid because they just don't provide enough, or they don't provide they don't provide enough utility, enough support on top of what they have. Like the ones in the support category, they don't do much, and the ones in the damage category, they don't have enough support or some kind of skills to back up their damage. They just don't. When everything above them have so much more in their kit that they can utilize that can help from your attack breaks, your defense breaks, having ways to boost the team, and they just so much stronger in regards to what they to what everything else have and damage wise. And like Blue Pup just don't make it here because he reduced turn bar and the boss gonna take turn bar. So it's like you're useless. You're useless. I think that's all I wanted to say here because I think this was getting long too, and I don't want this video to be any longer than what it have to. But that's all I got to say about this guild boss tier list. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you agree, disagree, anything, leave that down in the comment section below. I would like to read and respond to your comments. If you like the video, make sure you smash it, you slap it, and you do that. And if you don't, there's another button you can do the same to as well. Link to our Discord where we talk about this game, and some of you have been joining. Will be in the description box below as well as the pinned comment below. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and turn those post notifications on so you can be the first to see my content when it goes live. And this is your host, Gamer Dude 2088, and I'll see you guys next time. And I'm out. Deuces.